Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new NVIDIA daily update video. So today, let's go over NVIDIA. My voice is still a little bit hoarse. I am still sick, a little bit better than yesterday, but I'm still sick. So I'm trying to make this video a little bit more concise. And if my voice sounds weird, well, now you know. But anyways, let's jump into it. If you enjoy, of course, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you do enjoy my technical analysis, thoughts on the charts, etc., I do share my thoughts with my members every single day the market is open in my membership on YouTube. The link is down below. For just $3 a month, you get access to all my intraday thoughts, posts, updates, mainly on Tesla stocks, sometimes other stocks as well. Or for $5 a month, you get access to the second tier, which includes everything in the first tier I just mentioned, which is obviously Tesla plus other stocks sometimes. But you also get access to my NVIDIA daily updates. Again, I share these updates, chart updates, etc., as the market is open, live, and trading. So definitely check it out. Link is below in the description of the video, the first link. But jumping into it, NVIDIA closing the day up 1.7%, closing at 118.5, we'll say, per share, which, is not the worst thing in the world, but not the best thing in the world, right? So what does this actually mean moving forward for NVIDIA? Well, like I said many times, NVIDIA is still in a situation where, I'm looking for some bottoming signals, right? We're not really getting any obvious bottoming signals just yet on the daily time frame, right? We are obviously getting a little bit of a rejection by that 200 EMA over here, which we want to break above, which is pretty much about $220 per share. And I did want to see a little bit more strength into the close, but we didn't get that, unfortunately. So what does this actually mean moving forward, right? Well, for NVIDIA, the way I look at it is, it's honestly pretty simple. Like I said, so overall, the bigger perspective, the zoomed out perspective is, again, I'm looking for a bottoming process. I don't know if it'll be right here, right now. I don't know if it'll take a few more days, maybe even another week, right? Nobody knows how much longer it'll take. But I do think that the downside from here is limited compared to the potential upside, at the very least for the short term, right? At the very least for the short term. Stock is too oversold. This company is too strong to be this oversold. And again, my worst case scenario to the downside will be somewhere around 107, right? That'll be that pretty much pivot point from all the way back here in September, right? That'll be like the short term. That'll be the worst case scenario. Like I honestly don't even think we'll go there, but if we happen to head lower, something happens to happen, or whatever the case may be. Obviously, you never know with this market, especially this kind of market with Trump. You never know for sure. That to me is like pretty much worst case scenario, short term. But again, I honestly would be surprised if we even get that. But ultimately, again, we're in a situation where I'm looking for bottoming signals essentially, right? Now, again, what is that going to look like, right? Well, we could potentially start setting up eventually, bullish inverted head and shoulders. That is a possibility. Obviously, we'll see, but that is something to watch out for. Could be setting that up slowly but surely. Let's watch for that. On top of that, what else do we have, right? Well, one thing I did like that was playing out kind of this morning, I guess, is this. Let me put it over here, right? We're kind of setting up, and NVIDIA is kind of flat right now with AMD reporting earnings actually tumbling pretty hard, even though the earnings was actually pretty decent. It's actually falling pretty aggressively. Pretty unfortunate, actually. Wow, that is not great. But NVIDIA did come in, rather. NVIDIA is holding after hours pretty well, but it is kind of setting up what looks to be a bit of a, little bit of a bullish type wedge here, if you will, right, on the 1 hour. Now, this is also happening in a pretty interesting spot because you can see NVIDIA, right, as it was essentially, consolidating for quite some time, right? You can see this kind of, sideways, if you will, rectangle that I have here. This area obviously acted as a support. And then, when we did have that gap down on tariffs on, what was it, Monday, I think yesterday, we had this area that, obviously turned into resistance. You can see back here, right? And then what happened? We had a 1 hour candle this morning that pushed up above it on slightly elevated volume, which is good. And now we're coming back down into this area. And, the idea is we want to turn it back into a support. And so far, we're actually showing, signs of that, if you will. We are showing some signs of that. But, there's more work to be done. And by that, I mean, as long as we continue pretty much holding, again, about 118 or something like that, right? About 118. That's a good sign. That'll be a good sign for NVIDIA, right? We'll continue turning this area back into support, and that's going to be promising. And I think this potentially small little wedge can play out and maybe make our way a little bit higher. So like 123, 124, something like that, right? That's kind of what I'll be looking for moving forward on NVIDIA stock from here. So obviously we'll see how it plays out, but that's kind of the short-term perspective, right? Again, that's short-term. Longer term, or like the daily, for instance, again, we want to close back above 120. That's where the 200 EMA is. That's where, I think more bullish confirmation will come in on NVIDIA. And the stock will overall look a little bit stronger, in my opinion. So let's watch for those kind of confirmations. But again, based on the fact that, our RSI is setting up a little bit of a bullish divergence where the stock is making lower lows, but the RSI is making higher lows. It's a good sign, right? a bit of a bullish divergence. We're near the bottom of the Bollinger Band. You know, RSI is still technically pretty much more or less at oversold territory, and the weekly is pretty much the exact same, right? Right off the 50 EMA, which is the yellow line. For the first time in literally years, the stock is sitting at the bottom Bollinger Band. For the first time in a very long time, the stock is in oversold RSI territory on the weekly time frame. Doesn't happen very often. The last time it entered this, like literally into oversold territory, was back in 2022 of October, right? Quite a while away. So we're in some pretty, again, yes, it can go lower. Yes, it can be, yeah, we can see 107. Like, yes, like obviously these things can happen. Like nobody knows the bottom. Nobody can time the bottom, right? No, no, you can't. You cannot do that. I don't care who you are. You can't. It's all about risk reward, right? It's all about understanding these kind of situations. And again, I could be wrong. I'm just a regular dude. But when I look at NVIDIA, when I see it at these kind of stages, like it's hard for me to be bearish on the stock. Like, yeah, maybe I'm not overwhelmingly bullish. I'm not thinking that, yeah, it's going to rocket to new all-time highs just yet. Sure, fine. But in terms of being literally bearish, it's hard to be literally bearish on a stock like this when it's in these kind of situations. Like, at least for me, that I could be wrong, but I don't know. It's just not the place that I personally would start being bearish. On top of that, we're arguably setting up a bit of a hidden bullish divergence. This one's a little bit more complicated, but a hidden bullish divergence is essentially when the oscillator, in this case the RSI, is making lower lows. So in this case, you can see, so compared to these lows back here, which was these two RSI lows back here, you can see this RSI, where we are now, is lower than both of those points, but the stock itself is not. That's a hidden bullish divergence. Essentially, RSI is making lower lows, but the stock is not. That's a hidden bullish divergence, which is essentially what we're forming, which obviously based on the name, hidden bullish divergence, I think that speaks for itself, right? So again, could be more pain. Yeah, absolutely. Could we see 107? Technically, yeah. As long as we continue staying below 120, I think 107 is in play. Above 120, and like good, solid, strong closures above 120, I think 107, at least short term, gets removed off the table. But yeah, so yeah, I guess that's the easiest way to put it. Below 120, yeah, 107 is in play. Above 120, 107 is much less in play, and I think more of a move to high 120s, even low 130s becomes the play instead. So watch 120. I think that's probably the most important pivot point for NVIDIA moving forward. So let's see how the stock reacts tomorrow. Let's see. I mean, AMD and Google kind of tanking actually. By NVIDIA, it started off good. I thought my sold puts will be very happy, but they're probably a little bit less happy right now. So we'll see. We'll see how that opens up tomorrow. Yikes. But yeah, nonetheless, let's see how this plays out. Let me know what you think down below. Ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to take a look at options flow. Take a very quick look at options flow. Let's see what's happening here very, very quickly. Yeah, sometimes bullish will come in through the morning, right? Nice 1.4. Wow, someone really went ham here. These are leaps. Yeah, 2026. They are definitely leaps, but it's only 1 year. So nothing crazy. Not a crazy leap, but nonetheless, someone's clearly bullish longer term. I mean, I agree. Anyone that's not long-term bullish on NVIDIA is just, I don't know, man. You gotta be crazy. But yeah. Anyways, the bulls are stepping in, but I wouldn't say it's as decisive as it usually is for NVIDIA. And in terms of confirmed options flow, NVIDIA, let's see if we can find it anywhere here. Probably, yeah, only 3.4 million confirmed bearish flows. Nothing really crazy. Nothing to write home about, right? Pretty muted. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.